Now, I know I'm wearing a Sacramento's King jersey, but I am from Texas. If you can't tell from my voice, you can probably also tell by the flags behind me. I'm not from Austin. I love Austin. I love visiting there. I love watching the Longhorns. But there's been a huge boom in Austin. And when there's a boom, usually not just a population growth, there's also other issues, growing pains that come with it. We got a video by Uptin, never heard of him. Silicon Valley moved to Austin, then regretted it. Very interesting title, a very intriguing topic with me in general. Let's check it out, boys.
This was the fastest growing city in the US just a couple years ago. Today, its home prices have fallen more than any other city in the country.
Damn.
So what is happening?
Remember when everyone said Austin is the next Silicon Valley?
So we moved during COVID. They would jokingly say, oh, don't bring California to Texas.
Tech companies were moving.
I think Texas in general is getting a lot of, like, what was it? The Donald Trump, he scored some kind of deal, some AI deal, and it's gonna be in Abilene, Texas. And there's gonna be a lot of facilities there. I mean, a lot of things are moving to Texas in general. I mean, it's the middle of the country. It is very hot. I think a lot of this has to do with also the pandemic in general. Obviously, you know, Joe Rogan's very iconic about moving from LA to Texas, has always backed Austin, Texas in general. But there's a lot of different reasons why Austin in general has popped off like crazy. Austin is one of the most liberal cities in Texas to begin with, so it's obviously a good choice for, you know, people of that kind of mindset to come over here. But still, it's very interesting to me that all the houses are dropping in price. You know, because I do watch Asmongold from time to time. He's from Austin as well, which is interesting. And he's talked about this situation and saying that, like, his friends actually were priced out of his neighborhood. They grew up in this neighborhood and they were completely priced out of it. That's how expensive it's getting. So it's, you know, are the prices of these houses going up? Are they going down?
Elon Musk was tweeting about it. Property prices were going crazy. People called it.
Okay, so they're crashing now. Okay, I gotcha. So they were going through the roof. Now they're just crashing. I mean, I don't mind a housing crash. I'm not gonna lie. I think the fact that some people can own hundreds or thousands of houses and no one lives in there is fucking ridiculous to me. I think that there's a lot of people in my generation, Gen Z, that want to own a house, want to have a wife and kids and dogs or whatever it might be, and be a good, you know, productive member of society and own something, you know, own a fucking house, even though the bank's gonna own it majority of the time. Still, people are like, why are they building all these fucking apartments everywhere? It's because no one can afford a fucking house. These houses, it's fucking crazy to me, bro. It pisses me off, actually.
The future of American innovation.
My rent was $1,800, so it like almost tripled over the past 2 years.
Developers rushed in building skyscrapers, new homes and offices.
Bungalow and Container Bar were like my favorite bars, and they're both just wiped out and
I've been there.
Construction war zones.
But now, layoffs and empty office spaces tell a different story.
Prices are falling, tech jobs are dying up, and a lot of people who moved here, they're rethinking it.
As tech is returning to work,
I guarantee you, once that fucking August, if you haven't been in Texas and you're newly moved here, once that August heat hits, shit, you're gonna be running for the hills. I mean, the last couple of summers we've had, it's been 100 degrees majority of the time. Not just August, like fucking June, like in May we were getting 100-degree weather. It's crazy, man, and we'll have these like light rains in Texas as well, so it makes everything more humid, and the heat it just gets hotter. It's like you're cooking in the sauna, but damn, I'm trying to work here. I'm trying to get from point A to point B, and I'm already getting sweat stains. It fucking sucks, and it gets cold in this bitch too, bro. Back in, I think it was 2021, we had the Great Freeze. That shit shattered every pipe in the fucking Metroplex.
are starting to leave Austin. I think there's
a
lot
of
people, even neighbors particularly, who are upside down.
When I talk to people and ask some why they've left Austin, the biggest reason I'm getting is this.
So what happened to Austin, Texas? And why did a city that looked unstoppable suddenly hit the brakes?
This is gonna be the tallest building in all of Texas. It's getting ready to open, but if I was a developer, I would be freaking out right now because as you can see, there's gonna be 833,000 of total square feet. So during the pandemic, Austin became the place for tech work.
It always goes back to the pandemic, bro. So many different industries were booming like crazy with the pandemic. My specific industry that I work in, it boomed like crazy, and people were taking on work that they couldn't keep up with, and those people went under because they couldn't get out of the contracts that they already had set. And you know, the pandemic was very different, man. It was very, you know, you didn't know what was going to go up in price and what was going to go down, what we were going to have a shortage of and what we didn't. You know, we had facilities that were blowing up from natural disasters and complications with warehouses and stuff like that. It was a weird fucking time. And then getting product from overseas and stuff like that was a hassle as well, because you didn't know what country was still on lockdown or on pandemic. So materials and all that kind of stuff was an issue. Labor was an issue as well, because I mean, obviously you're having a pandemic. There's people that might be sensitive to getting sick. They might already have pre-existing situations where it's probably not best for them to be out in public and risking getting something like COVID, you know. Obviously there's a lot of people like me that are just naturally healthy, you know, and so it's less likely of a complication. But dude, it was fucking insane. It was so fucking weird. And dude, I will never forget driving on the highway, bro, and there's nobody in sight, and it is rush hour. That was the weirdest one, man. It just, the streets in general being so bare, that was honestly peaceful. There's a lot of peaceful things about this shit, but economic situations, the uncertainty of them was insane.
Escaping California. And the city was very appealing. I mean, if you think about it, Texas, or Austin especially, was a fun city. There wasn't a lot of COVID and regulations that you would see in California, like closed gyms or you must wear a mask in a grocery store. Also, no income tax, and just a cheaper quality of life. Cheaper.
I remember getting bitched out because I was with my buddy, and we went to a 7-Eleven, and back during the pandemic, they had obviously like the glass shield for the cash register and everything like that, and then they had these like little polka dots on the ground that were all 6 feet apart, and you were supposed to stand in line 6 feet apart. And I was with my homeboy, and we were just chilling right next to each other, and we were getting just fucking bitched at. This random chick that walked in, this old lady, she was so fucking tilted, just walked in and saw us not, we were both, you know, 1 foot, each of our foot was just sitting on the polka dot. She was not happy, bro. She did not want that to happen, bro. She wanted us to separate. It was a little extra. But yeah, it was, I don't know why I thought about that, but.
Apartment, cheaper housing.
Man.
So you could start to see why this place was so appealing.
Yeah.
Not to mention warm weather, a weird artsy culture, and way cheaper than the Bay Area.
It's funny too, because the COVID, like if you look at the gaming industry, skyrocketed. Like streaming skyrocketed, so everyone invested in more labor and everything because they thought it was just going to keep on skyrocketing. They didn't realize once everything went back to normal, once people weren't in their homes, that people weren't going to be so invested in the technology that be. And so I guarantee you a lot of these different technology companies, whatever they specialize in, that are move their headquarters to Austin. And so they all got to buy houses. Well, they probably had a bunch of layoffs. So guess what? They're probably, should we stay here? Should we not? You know what I mean?
Names came fast. Tesla announced its Gigafactory near Austin in 2020.
Don't they have their own city outside of Austin now? Like, I'm pretty sure there's like a Tesla city on the outskirts of Austin.
Oracle moved its headquarters from Redwood City to Austin. Dropbox, Palantir, and Apple all expanded their offices.
Yeah.
VC money followed. In 2021, Austin-based startups raised almost $5 billion. That was
VC money? Are we talking about 2K? You told me VC money by 2K's got their own fucking skyscraper. I wouldn't be surprised, bro. Motherfuckers got these dumbasses playing 2K all scammed.
was up 200% from 2019.
They don't give a damn.
Home prices also insane. Median home value in Austin in January 2020 was just $325,000. By mid 2022, over 500.
See, 300,000, that's a sweet spot. I think that's a great number for like your first home, two people coming together, you know, buying a home together. I think 300, you know, I would even say like 275. Like I remember talking to my parents and they bought a house. I think it was for like, I think the first home was like 200 something. Maybe it was even like in the ones. Actually, no, I think they bought the home they live in now. I think it was like 175K or something like that. It's like, yeah, bro, what happened? And now that home's probably worth like $75,000 or something like that. It's crazy, man.
$50,000. That's a
Like we really got screwed over. Like the Monopoly game was just kept on going, and then we spawned in, and it's like, well, shit's already fucking expensive. I guess we're just fucked.
70% increase in just over 2 years.
Yeah.
For a while, it felt like Austin had won the tech lottery.
Just a few years ago, tech companies were racing here to Austin to open up offices.
But then the cracks started to show.
That's a dope ass
In
building.
late 2022 and throughout 2023, the tech industry slowed down.
Yeah, it
Interest
did.
rates rose, funding dried up, layoffs began. Nationwide, over 300,000
Biden happened. No, I'm just kidding.
tech workers were laid off from 2022 to
Yeesh.
2024.
That's a
And
lot.
Austin, as a growing tech hub, got hit hard. According to the Austin Chamber of Commerce, tech job postings fell 25% from 2022 to 2024. Companies paused hiring and some even pulled out. At the same time, the cost of living skyrocketed and the infrastructure couldn't keep up. People
Nope.
moved in, but the I-35 was a mess. There's no comprehensive metro system, and housing construction
I mean, to be fair, I-35 is a mess no matter where you are on the map. Like, you can be in Dallas, that motherfucker's a mess, bro.
was delayed due to high materials costs. The dream started to feel off.
Right now, San Francisco and Austin are tied for having the most available office space.
That is one city you do not want to be tied with, bro.
27% of available
Jesus.
office space is sitting empty in both of these cities. So now you can imagine when you're about to come to market with all of this space, who is going to be lining up for that space? It's going to be interesting.
In May 2022, median home prices were about $570,000, but by May 2024, they were just $435,000. That's a
Damn.
23% drop in a couple years. And with the growth slowing down, that's bad news for developers who are banking on, well, crazy more growth.
That's so weird to me because I feel like, because I've been looking at houses for like the past half decade, bro. Past half decade, I've been looking at homes in my area, and it feels like that shit's just going up and up and up and up. And I don't live in Austin, but I live in Texas. Fuck, maybe I need to go look at the prices out there. Goddamn.
Not a lot of people that move to Austin that stay in Austin. They come in, get what they need to do, and then they kind of leave.
I think there was
Yeah, I know two different couples that moved to Austin. One stayed there, and then he got a divorce, and he came back. But then the other couple, something happened, and they moved back, but because they just didn't vibe with it. Like, it's a cool city and everything to visit. Love going to watching the Longhorns play. Hook 'em, baby. But that's about it, man. That's about all.
this is like hump in how expensive things were, and it's finally finding like its original level. I think it's still gonna crash because all of this is still finishing. So there's so much inventory that still hasn't been opened up yet.
Even
Yeah.
worse, some neighborhoods saw price drops of over 30%, especially new builds in the suburbs that were bought during the peak frenzy. And it wasn't just prices, sales volume tanked too. Listings are staying on the market for over 70 days compared to just 18 days in 2021. A lot of people
Damn.
who bought at the top, well, they're stuck. Underwater mortgages are back in certain zip codes.
When was the best time to buy a home? I think it might have been like probably during COVID, honestly. I feel like that was when the lowest prices were at, you know? Probably not. When did COVID start? Because I remember hearing about COVID in January for the first time in 2019. No, sorry, 2020. So I think like the pandemic started like early March maybe. So I'll probably say like April or May. You know, you would have to have enough time go by where the prices in housing really they felt it, so they were lowering their prices, you know what I mean? Because that was a time when no one wanted to sell and everyone wanted to buy. My sister actually got an amazing deal at that time period. I'm really jealous. Really, really good spot that's being developed right now too, so that shit's probably going up right now.
It was a lot cheaper to live in, and Austin was like, at the time at least, really cheap. My rent was $1,800, so it like almost tripled over the past 2 years being there, and then like the price of food's increased, the price of like
Yep.
everything's gone up. And
Yep.
it's still like very affordable now, and rent is like dropping like 40%.
Another big shift that's happening is the return to the office. So with more companies mandating their employees in the office at least a few days a week.
I think people just moved here thinking it wasn't gonna be as hot as it was, and also I think the remote work trend is kind of dying and people are going back to where they were originally working.
Well, they have to in the government. I wonder how that went, man. Because I remember when Trump was always he was talking about it, it's like, oh, they're gonna be back or they're gonna be let go. It's crazy to me. Like, I think remote work is like one of the best things you could have, honestly, because then you have the ability to do whatever the fuck you want. But like, if you've ever had to lead people, ever managed people, or had your own business, keeping people reliable and having them be remote, ooh, it's just so easy for them just to walk away from that computer. You know what I'm saying?
During the pandemic, Austin thrived because people thought remote work was here to stay. But since 2023, Google, Meta, and Apple have all pushed return to office policies.
Oh.
So guess what? Many people who moved to Austin while working in San Francisco companies either had to move back or quit. Net migration of tech workers to Austin slowed by 40% between 2022 and 2024.
Even some of the companies that moved here left. So I think Meta was supposed to have like $1 billion lease in a new building. They dropped that.
And I know that Oracle used to be based out of Austin, and now they're looking to be based out of Nashville. So I think a lot of tech companies as well.
I was about to say, are they going back to LA? Like,
Aren't like picking Austin.
Well, but they do that.
The concept of remote work didn't die, the hype did, and Austin felt the burn.
When I talk to people and ask some why they've left Austin, the biggest reason I'm getting is this.
I think a lot of Californians and a lot of people from like outside of Texas moved here, not thinking it was going to be like you hear like it's hot summers when it's like June, July, August, like it's.
Oh no. It can be December and it can be 90 degrees out. Like straight up. You'll have freezes. Like they're usually around January and February is the coldest, days of the year in Texas. But dude, it could be October, it could be November, it could be December, bro. And you could have an excruciating hot day. That sun burns a little bit brighter than the Lone Star State. I'll tell you what.
105 outside, and you can't even like leave the house.
Another thing I learned here is this: a huge part of Austin's real estate boom was investors, not actual locals. By
This shit should be fucking illegal. An investor, I'm going to buy these houses, no one's going to live them, and I'm just going to let the price just rise naturally. Like, it's one thing if you're buying houses and real estate and you're renting them out to people, but if no one's fucking living in them, like, what kind of business model do you have, brother?
2022, over 28% of homes sold in Austin were to investors. Hedge funds, Airbnb owners, and out-of-state landlords piled in. They treated Austin like the next...
I mean, that's not a bad thing, honestly. I think because there's been talks of like banning Airbnbs from certain cities and stuff like that, because it's corrosive to the community and stuff like that. I think it's a great opportunity. You want people to come and visit your place. Now, Austin's a great vacation spot for sure. Is it like a top of the line destination in the country? Hell no. Fuck no. You know what I mean? And same thing with like Houston, same thing with Dallas. These aren't places that you want to vacation to. There's no great beaches. There's no great mountains. It's not like Europe or Mexico or anything like that. It's not the
Miami
Caribbean
or Scottsdale. But when the Fed hiked interest rates, those investors calmed down. Airbnb profits shrank. Many homes flooded the market. And with fewer real end users buying, prices had to adjust. And that's a big reason why Austin's price correction was the steepest in the country.
Damn.
Behind me is what's called Waterline Tower. This is going to be the tallest building in...
Oh, this is the building I said that looks badass. This looks sick. I really like the I don't know what do you call it, like the PlayStation 5 look.
all of Texas. They started construction in 2022, anticipating a massive, massive boom. The building will be ready in 2026.
Let's be clear, Austin didn't crash, it just kind of came back to earth. The population is still growing, though a lot slower, around 1.3% in 2024.
I mean, we're half a decade past the pandemic. It kind of makes sense.
That's down from 3% in 2021. Companies are still hiring and many have big campuses. Austin's job market is stable. Unemployment is under 4%. But the idea that it would become a tech utopia overnight, well, that's no longer realistic.
I think that is realistic. Well, not overnight, but I think Texas in general will become a tech utopia. Or maybe not a utopia, but a powerhouse. That's for sure.
Austin's
especially with AI.
Is what many cities experience.
And that's also another thing we need to talk about. We're talking about tech companies, right? What kind of occupation, what kind of field do you think is going to be, if you want to talk about overall employees being fired, released, let go, because AI and the basis of its function can maybe not exactly replace the employee itself, but it can do a good enough job where it makes it easier for another employee to do your job as well. You know, you just pay that employee a little bit more, give them a little bonus, you know, it takes over your responsibility. I think the tech industry in general, I think that's a big one for sure. And then you also have Mr. Musk. Some people hate him, some people love him. It is what it is. Some people are, you know, indifferent. He fired a shit ton of people off of Twitter, right? He just cleared the deck pretty much. He had to bring people back. Not everybody though. Not everybody. And Twitter's been running pretty much, never had a real big issue in my opinion. Never felt different. You know, there's been, you know, phases and, you know, different little things that have been added and stuff like that. There's a lot more Gooner material and all that kind of stuff, but it seems to be the Twitter that I'm used to, so I don't know.
After a boom,
I guess
a
they
correction, a rebalancing, a reality check.
It's actually crazy how much Google I'm seeing. You have a massive Google logo at the top of that building, and it seems like a big part of that building is for Google, and then you just cross the street and you see way more Google stuff, the whole lobby, the logo. It's really fascinating here. It's really kind of intriguing to me because I don't see this much outside of New York or Silicon Valley.
So here's my lesson from all this. Boomtowns can bust. No matter how hot something seems, if the fundamentals aren't there, like the infrastructure and affordability and long-term growth, it won't last.
I'll tell you what, I don't know how Austin is, but there's a lot of cities where the infrastructure is not built correctly in Texas. Okay, I can point to one that is phenomenal. That is Frisco, Texas. And the way they developed that city is phenomenal. They did an amazing job. It has popped off, dude. Like crazy. But a lot of cities, major cities in Texas, in this area, in the DFW, the infrastructure of it is shit. And the people running it are, I'm not going to say they're bad people or anything like that, but the choices they make is shit. And the construction takes for fucking ever. And you think they would be working on roads at night? No, they work on them in the middle of rush hour. And then no one's on the roads at night. It's just like, what are we fucking doing right now?
Remote work isn't
Jesus.
a forever
All I see is orange cones.
guarantee. Basing your life on a Zoom job might be the safest long-term move. Don't buy real estate during FOMO. If you bought a $600,000 home in
Jesus. Ooh.
Austin in 2022, that might be worth $470,000 now. Ouch. And cities are more than just trends.
I'm not gonna lie though. Just keep crashing, baby. Keep crashing. What's the worst that, well, you know, these houses get? Like, how low can we go? How low can we get these prices down before it's like a major issue? You know what I mean? Like, how long can we push these limits for? Because I want them motherfuckers. I need to hit that bitch at the peak bottom. You know what I mean? The rock bottom type shit. Whenever that shit is the lowest.
Austin is still awesome. Music, food, lifestyle, it's all still there. But
I need
the
a
hype
deal.
cycle is pretty much over.
Waterline represents the peak of Austin's boom, but will it also represent a sign of its crash? Some experts say these developments, especially the luxury ones, are too much too fast, and that the demand is just not going to keep up with all of this new supply.
Well, it's just an investment, brother. No one needs to be in there anyways, you know what I'm saying?
Last few years have been a reminder that real growth takes time.
Austin's a creative city, so it does attract sort of
That's true.
people who like to migrate for periods of time, do something, and then they kind of head out.
I think the only thing keeping Austin from being just as good as LA or just as good as like one of the SoCal cities is just
Okay. There's a lot of things you could say. Let's see.
the fact that it gets scorching hot for like 6 months out of the year.
You also don't have a really good ocean. It's also not the best hill country. You know what I mean? You know, when you have a really good hill country, the weather is a huge point for sure. But you just get used to it, bro. You just go outside and sweat, man. That's all you gotta do. You know, work indoors.
Very much the Texas attitude is, if you dream it, do it. There's the Texas outlaw spirit is still pretty strong.
This city is still evolving, but the so to speak gold rush is probably over. So is Austin's boom over, or is this just a correction? Will things kind of settle themselves out in the next couple years? I want to know what you think, so let me know in the comments below. While you're at it, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next one at Uptin.
There's a good It was a good video, man. His name's really catchy too. I like Uptin. I like short names. Like Ether goes hard. You know what I'm saying? Phenomenal video, bro. If you want to go check him out, go get him a sub. Great video, great dialogue, very interesting topic in general. Because there's probably a couple of cities that this can apply to that have been getting a lot of growth lately. And it's always fun to just sit back and examine something that's happened in the past 5 years or so. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna give this video a like. You should do the same. Go comment on the video. Tell them the Ether sent you, all that kind of stuff. I do think, though, that I think Austin will be fine because I think AI in general, especially in Texas, is going to be booming. And the fact that the big, beautiful bill passed, there's what was it, a 10-year limit of, no... pretty much limitations on AI development in general, which I think is going to be beneficial in certain ways and, probably corrosive in other ways to maybe society in general. But it will be helpful to create more, unfortunately, a lot of more companies to actually dive into AI, actual AI, real AI, develop that, see what they can cook up. And I think that Texas is going to be a huge hot spot. You already have a lot of other companies that are going to be able to work with you already because they're located there. I think Austin's going to be fine, man. I really do. But it is a huge topic. We'll see what happens, though. I could be wrong. Maybe they're fucked. Who knows, man? But let's read this real quick. The comment section below. People who move there watch too many New York City is falling apart. This is the end of California videos on YouTube. LOL. I mean, to be fair, California and New York aren't in the best situation right now. I mean, if you talk about New York City in general and then LA as well, you have two major cities that are hubs for transportation of the world to our country that are ran off of illegal immigration. If you take out illegal immigration, their economy would crash. I mean, it's already been kind of crashing in certain ways, and they've been crashing out, right? I don't think those are the two best places to point to be the the golden standard, as it might be. I know they have a lot of iconicness to them, but still, I'm just being logical about this, right? So basically, Wall Street came in and did a pump and dump. Yeah, pretty much. Tesla's engineering group moved back to the the SF Bay Area. They didn't stay in Austin that long. They said having more high-tech workers around gave them a better atmosphere to work in. That's completely logical. And there are amenities outside of work. The engineers know housing cost is higher and there's a state income tax, but they feel that it's worth it. Now, this is a very broad statement. I guarantee you not everybody in that company thinks that way. But yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it. I personally wouldn't want to live in San Francisco. Every single time I visit that place, man, it's not the Wild Wild West. It's I don't even know how to describe it. It's just homeless women running around topless, one hobo's high on crack, smearing his crap, literally his crap on the windows. You got apps and shit like that to track where the poop might be in the city. It's disgusting. It's gross. It's hot here, and I really do love Texas because, I mean, there's a lot of range of people here. I'm not talking like race, I'm talking about just people in general. And there's some very humbling, and, there's this thing called Southern hospitality. It's a real fucking thing. Usually when people come and visit, they can't believe it. But there's some fucking assholes, too. It gets hot, and people get irritated when it's hot. So it's not always fucking rainbows and sunshine, but it's... it's different. When I visit other places, people seem to be a little bit more asshole-ish, Born and raised in Austin, okay. People not from here truly underestimate how brutally hot the summers are and how bad the traffic is. And I imagine the traffic is even worse now. Austin is a great place to visit, especially in the winter and early spring, but the bloom comes off the rose real quick once you live here. Good video. Yeah, you know, I hate the heat, but you know, you can't live in a world without hate to appreciate the love. You can't live in a world without the pain to appreciate the joy. You know what I mean? I really do appreciate the hot days because, like, when I walk in from a shitty day and it's hot as fuck, and I'm walking into whatever it might be, the house, the apartment, a fucking Walmart or whatever, and that AC blasts and just hits me. Well, God damn it, that feeling, if I could capture it in the bottle, I'd be rich selling that shit. But yeah, this is a great video. Like I said, go hit up Uptin. Phenomenal video. Love his dialogue. Hopefully you enjoyed mine. My name is Trey Swish. This is the Ether. Comment down below. I'm eager to hear what y'all have to say. I love it when y'all include timestamps, but it's cool. You don't have to do that. Like the video. Help push this out to more people. Let's grow the Ether. And hit that sub button. Let's get to 1K. And yeah, man, I really hope y'all have an amazing day. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next one, man. Deuces. Fuck, it's gonna be hot today.